Hey, Supergirl, this is DC Sun coming back to you. Minasan konnichiwa, DC Sun des. It's been a few days. It's good to see you guys. Welcome back. Just going to do a quick review over a few different shows that were out from Legends of Tomorrow, Walking Dead, Supergirl. We'll start with Legends. Legends of Tomorrow ended up being one of those interesting episodes where they did a time jump back to Edo period Japan, which was kind of interesting to see. There were parts of the episode that were a little confusing for some people, including myself. For example, the when they took the pill for understanding any language, basically opening up translations and things. In some of the conversations, given they were all technically speaking English, so we could understand, even though they were in Japan, there were a couple instances where someone would say something in Japanese and then go back to English. But if they're all speaking the same language and understanding the same thing, then why switch over? Um, that was a bit odd, given it, as one of my friends put it, maybe it was just one of those things where the writer thought it'd be cool to throw those things in there. That's fine, just it kind of threw things off a little bit. But, anyways, the episode was interesting, dealing with loss and how to move forward with yourself and what you think yourself as far as self esteem and things of that nature, specifically with Ray Palmer's character, which was interesting. Watching the fight scenes and things, choreography was great. I really liked watching White Canary fight because I think she's one of the best fighters on the show. The choreography was good. The ninja part was a bit overdone, but it is what it is. It was cute. Story wise, them having the secret compartment left or the secret room left on the ship that no one knew about, other than seeing some weapons and things that were kept there from different time periods and from different exploits from the original captain. What do you think the message from Barry was? I'm really interested to see how they're tying that in with what's going on presently on the show. Moving on to The Walking Dead. Walking Dead, this episode was definitely lighter than the season premiere. Um, Carol separating herself from the group is interesting because she seems very intent on uh, moving on by herself. I hope that they bring her character back around one point or another between her and Morgan because I think her and Morgan make a really good pair, whether it's as a team or, you know, going against each other's beliefs or Morgan, coming around as like, actually, I was wrong about how I was thinking about things before. And, trying to have a wider view of what's going on in the world outside of what he thought would be the right path because obviously it's not. Not that he was wrong per se, but he wasn't right either. What he was looking at doing and trying to save everybody, it doesn't work for everyone because some people don't want to be saved. So that's the conflict that his character was having um, last season, and then now in this season, it seems like he's coming to grips with, hey, look, it doesn't work for everybody, and I have to find a new path myself. And that's something that I like that he was telling his student um, about finding your own path and finding your own way instead of following other people, because sometimes it's not the path meant for you, as we see with Carol's character. So, like I said, I hope Carol comes back around eventually, having our group coming back and meeting up with Carol and Morgan, but not just that, the people at the hilltop. Where's Jesus? Where did he go? Is he was he one of the people that died, or is he running around? Hopefully, he's one of the people that survived, and we'll run into him later on in this story. Hopefully, next episode, so we can see how they're going to move forward. Because with Negan around and the way things are going, it's just not pretty. I'm hoping the next episode we actually get to see Negan's camp, because if it's anything like the comic book, it's going to be pretty rough. And I'm just interested to see how they go about doing that. How they fed them was pretty gross. Having the walkers, having the pigs eat all the walkers to get fat and then feeding his community. That's pretty rough. That's a pretty good way of saying view. It's just disgusting. So glad I'm not there because I definitely wouldn't be eating pork whether I knew or not. Just, I don't know. It's gross. But also very funny. That's a good way of saying, hey, we're getting back at you. I enjoyed the episode. It was funny seeing how Carol reacted when she first met King Ezekiel because basically she's just like, you guys are batshit crazy. Excuse my language. But it was funny just seeing her reaction because what would you say in that case? You've been barely surviving as it is for months or for a year. All kinds of tragedy coming up. You've got tons of walkers, people dying and killing each other for, cans of food and such. Then you meet this dude with a giant tiger and dreadlocks who thinks he's the king of this little kingdom or this community. Yeah, I could see how Carol would be like, I think he's a few cans short because something's not right. But I liked how he pulled her aside towards the end of the episode and talked it out um, as he really is, and opened up and it's like, hey, look, this is who I really am. This is what happened. This is what people need. He made some very valid points. In this day and age, you have people who want a leader, and they want someone who's going to take that responsibility because, well, there are a lot of people who don't want the responsibility of having to lead other people, but feeling safe is always comforting, whether you do it yourself or someone supplies that security for you, which even in Negan's case, people see him as a safety blanket, and that's why he has a lot of followers. Whether they agree with his methods or not, realistically he's just that guy. Given their views are very different, Negan's very much for killing and being violent if that's the way to get his point across, where Ezekiel is, let's take the peaceful route. So seeing how they're playing those two characters on screen like they did in the books is actually kind of nice because it just adds a little more depth to the characters, especially the newer characters, because they will be hard to get used to or like for some people. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Supergirl. Supergirl was an interesting episode mainly because an underground fight ring of aliens. All right, that's fine. That happens in the comic books, and that was enjoyable. Had a few cheeseball moments, but you need that. The uh, the chemistry between Win and Monel is kind of funny. I could see them becoming buddy buddy, and how they're out drinking and having a good time. It was nice to see Win do something other than sit behind a computer and give some witty banter every now and then, because sometimes his character just doesn't get used enough. But him and Monel going out having a good time, I think, was a nice light way to you know give a segment of bonding between the two characters. Also, to be very different from what we've been seeing in the past few episodes. Now, Miss Martian being a real green Martian or a white Martian is a bit weird at the end of the episode, because it's like, okay, so which is it? Um, I don't know. It's kind of a coin toss. Her giving, if she really is a white Martian and showing Jean eventually, of course that's going to leave some conflict within himself because, well, his entire family was slaughtered. Well, his world also, but his entire family was killed mainly by the white Martians. So it's kind of difficult to see where they're going to go with this, because the writing can either be really good or really cheesy. So let's hope it goes for the good and add some depth to his character as well, because his character needs to have some more screen time doing something else other than giving orders from the DEO. Just, I don't know. It's one of those things. Kara's sister and the cop, potential love interest sparking up, possibly. It looks like it. I can see how they are leading to that with those two characters, and they have good chemistry on screen, and their characters, they work well together. So I can see that happening fairly soon if it does, and then maybe we'll find out some more about the cop, because we don't really have anything other than, she's a cop that occasionally teams up with them. Supergirl, Mon-El, definitely moving on to love interest between the two characters, just opposites attract kind of thing. It's a no-brainer. Mon-El not having the exact powers as Supergirl is also kind of interesting, because if it's always the same, it's kind of boring. But later on, seeing what his strengths and weaknesses are out in the field would be kind of interesting, and how they're going to do his costume is something I'm looking forward to, because in the comic books it's fairly simple, but it's still pretty iconic and looks cool. So hopefully he'll get that before the season ends. What did you guys think of these past 3 shows? What are you looking forward to? I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow's episode of The Flash, and the day after that for Arrow, because I am eagerly waiting for the big crossover with the shows. So I'm hoping it's coming up soon, because I'm ready to see what they're going to do with the stories. Well, Super Crew, let me know what you guys think of the shows. By the way, I'll put a post up later for Ruby, the next the next chapter in Volume 4. The first one was very, very interesting, entertaining. I loved it. It was good. I'm hoping the next one is just as action-packed and story-driven, because so far it's going in the right direction. It's definitely keeping my interest peaked, and because I want to see what happens with some of our characters like Yang. For those who are Pura fans, yes, I mourn with you. I miss her. She was a good character. Hopefully something will happen, and we'll have something, a character similar to her, or anything, I don't know. Or just, go in a completely different direction with another character, and, I don't know, have that space filled, because I miss her. Well, until next time, keep it super. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys watching. Love you. See you soon.